Absolutely do, because look, like you were saying, some of these teams just haven't turned on the Bunsen burner. At this point in time, not only are they going to fail in biology class, they're also going to be failing and going home if they get down towards that bottom 5, as Hot Jukes was saying on the desk. And right now, Mad Bull 0 points. Yes, summer has to change, and soon. For the Mongolian Massive, on the other hand, just keep doing what you're doing. This region, though, does produce some absolute brilliance in terms of talent. Even Icy, right, is another team that we got to talk about, which is IHC. Unfortunately, aren't with us here, but he was a player on that team. Obviously, the guys from STE were like, look, he's good. Let's pick him up. Let's get him on the team. He plays fantastically, and he has slipped into the roster extremely well. Sort of taking up that role that we saw Scry have in the past, but just feels a lot more confident on it. And I think that the word that you use, which is faith in your teammates, that is probably the best phrase to put for it, right? Because they are so confident in Nerza to hold an angle, so confident in leaving Icy behind, and knowing that place between them and Icy is just completely safeguarded. So it's a really nice thing, and I think that getting that started off at the very first day is just going to be moves after moves coming through for Stalwart going forward. Again, we are having some more of these hot drops. Bra Esports versus DX. It's getting a little bit more hairy this time. Overall, it's DX who's taking the task over towards Bra. And honestly, at this point, DX is just doing it a lot better.
Yeah, I think this is one where we saw DX playing a slow, methodical, you know, engage off the back of nades, creep around the back alleys and look a little bit nasty at midnight, to then changing into playing very slow, very kind of fragmented after being basically manhandled by Bra. Bra, of course, giving up any real chance in Erangel overall on that one by going down because of it, just really ego challenging to the maximum. To here, where I suppose if you're DX, you thought, well, look, it can't get any worse. Let's just swing on them and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that last game, it's not technically a win for Bra Esports because they sacrificed the whole game to win the hot drop. DX isn't happy with that. They're like, look, if you want to do that and get 4 points every single game and that's it and have no chance at the end game, that's fine. We'll keep dropping here. We'll keep changing strategies up. Because I think that their win over Erangel was at least a confident one, right? At the end of the day, they got further into the match off the back of it. So for Bra, someone might need to change. And at the moment, I do think DX is looking like they probably will just win this engagement off the back of it. In the meantime, looking at the map itself, very hard northwest circle up towards shooting range, very similar to what we saw last time. Gladiators, they take a little bit of a secondary drop spot over towards the top side of Sosnovka, pick up some vehicles in the meantime. I think they would much rather be over towards South George at this point in time, towards crates, but I think even they understand that something needs to be changed up here. They need to get out of their own heads, and maybe breath of fresh air in a different location is what they need.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. We're at the minute for Gladiators. It's the difference of you need Meku, you need Tixi to get a few frags under your belt. You know, get a couple of eliminations, warm up a little bit and start having a bit more confidence in your plays. Here, though, it's Blade that's going to have to try and slay from far away, it seems. Pressure applied onto him, gives up the top floor of the building, makes the noise with the footsteps. Teammates eating nades for breakfast. That's not a very well-rounded breakfast, Blank. It does a lot of damage to your teeth.
Well, I mean, the grenade is well-rounded, but yeah, not a well-rounded breakfast whatsoever. But yeah, Falak going down is not a good thing, considering Falak is kind of the star player of the team. There's certainly great players on this squad, IQ and Blade doing some fantastic things in the past, but yeah, without Falak providing that high ground support, it's sort of donezo. They even take control of that high ground at the back of it, so Loops just know exactly how they want to play this one now, and it's super clean cut after that. 4 eliminations go through to Loops, and they're happy with that one.
Yeah, a little bit of celebration there.
See ya.
Man's dropping the body hurts and the wave goodbye. All right, Loops. Man, I will give it to them. They've had a lot of style outside of the server. You've seen they've been looking pretty confident the way they're playing it. And right now, encroaching into the top 4 spots overall, halfway through the games played on our opening day of games here, in what is easily one of the most intense groups we're seeing. You got to give it to them. A little bit of flair can go a long way to keep the mental game high.
You need it sometimes as well. And particularly with Sam Sosnovka, getting that quick wipe is going to be really beneficial going forward for them. A lot of teams now start to make their way into the circle itself. Pajiza, Evos have Yaz and Aya all to their own. Kind of surprising for me, honestly, that Yaz is just completely clean. And we're having these hot drops happen all over the place. This is a place that could easily hold two teams. Yeah, everyone seems to be very hell-bent on holding their spots. And that's where ego comes in, right? And I think at this point, it's okay to have an ego. You're in PMGC. If you want that position on the map, you fight for it. The question is, does fighting for that spot put you in the bottom 5 and send you home? Does it send you to the survival stage? Are you okay with that? Because there are other teams in the lobby who are just living their best life in a location that has no hot drop, accruing points, looking like they're going to end up in the top 3 and just get sent directly through to PMGC.
And that's one of the biggest things with a format like this, where effectively it feels like you're running the gauntlet game in, game out, leaving your fate up to another team. It just feels so soul-crushing. It's one of those where you want to set things by your own hand. You want to be the ones that are making the plays. If it's ever up to another team to decide whether or not you're actually going to make it through or have to fight it from that survivor stage, really struggle to get back into things, it just does so much to, you know, slowing down the confidence, slowing down sort of that aggression that you can have that can be the difference in some of those situations. So for now, at least that's a little while away. So we've still got a good few days ahead of us, and we've got a good few games left to give it. For Alpha 7, giving it is what they're going to be doing here with a DBS. Shotgun primed and ready, lurking round the corners. Strikes first onto Falcons that felt like they spread their wings very early into the day, but since then, they've had them clipped.
Yeah, for some reason, Mafioso's bullets feel like they're just larger than everyone else's. When he crunches on someone like DBS, it feels like it's always an instantaneous wipe on it. Back and forth there, we get the double knockdown. Carrillo takes down Axa, but really no one is around to support. And Carrillo just healing up, and we'll go for the res shortly afterwards. But a nade from up on high could be dangerous, could be dastardly. Never mind.
Ooh, the shotty though, it might make the difference. DBS for Mafioso was able to spot that one out, and it seems like the pain train that pulled up towards Falcons is continuing to deliver station after station as the shots are connecting onto them relatively low in terms of what you've got left to work with now. It's just 6 on a high ground. Up top, trying to play for peaks, or big dash on a nade, nearly a little bit too much of an arc on that one.
I love that he's just sticking it as well, not moving. If he gets that to pop right, oh, just a little bit higher, it would have been perfect. But and after 6 realizes, not a good idea to stay up here for too much longer. Just sends back downstairs. Last player remaining. Cardozin will run himself down. That's okay. He can get back on his bike, get moving. That's down over towards Sosnovka. They have not moved very quickly. Stalwart similarly still on their way out from military base over at Novo. They've got a long way to go, but that's fine. Malise Esports, quick rotate up towards that north side as we're going to hit into our stage 2 very soon.
Nade still just being pelted through the windows here as well. 6 made the decision to make a quick switch on his rifle, I believe, for a shotty in the back pocket. So it looks like double shotguns for the engagement. Unloads with the semi, switches to the pump, seeing if he can blow them to bits. Here's the first. Nice tag on the second as well. Actually making this one look relatively uncomfortable. The choke point on the stairs really causing issues for them. They've got to back off because of it and create space. They hold on the off angles. Blank. He's trying to make a play on this one. Taking each fight very confidently into this. Going down towards the last of the utilities he's really got though. Got to primarily just stick to his guns in a situation like this, but they give him timing for the double reload, and he has 1 smoke, 2 stims left.
I mean, this is the pumpy as well he's using, but Senab will find the grenade. Head up towards that top side. Keeps it safe. Realizes that is not a lad to be messed around with. 6 is just a very good player on the side of Falcons. Really, really sick with it. But unfortunately, versus 4 players from Alpha 7 who have had a really good time so far in this tournament. It's just too much. 5 eliminations right off the get-go. Beautiful stuff for them. They'll be pleased with that one. Getting them a little bit closer towards that #1 spot, which is currently held by Stalwart. You know what? Despite everything, 2 chicken dinners and still being very, very close behind them for Alpha 7. It's been a great run from them so far. Gladiators make a very quick rotation. A rotation that I'm fairly pleased with, honestly. They were over towards the top side of Sosnovka. It's the fastest rotation we've seen from this team in a long time. Question is, can they win a team fight?
It's a big question. It would be in bold and potentially italics.
Yeah.
It's one they need to kind of give us a good answer to, right? Again, we've been saying just how rough these games have been for them so far today. At least here, you've tried to make the best of the situation starting off on this one. This is the last outing on ERANGEL we're going to have as well. So if there is anything for Gladiators to be found here in the green pastures, they need to pick it up soon. Hello. That's a big name player for Loops, taking damage down range as Levi's is able to find the angle onto him. Wow, and they're really engaging on this. Just peppering the vehicle. Mythic can do absolutely nothing from this. You're just taking clean fights. The rotation there completely ripped to shreds, not able to close any space between them. So DX getting away from the early fight versus Bra after picking up 1 elim, now clean up again.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of a gorgeous setup as well on the cleanup, because they had players all over the place just ready to step up. So no matter where they went through those headshot hills, they were gonna get cleaned up by someone. So a really, really nice play there from DX to try and hold from behind. Bra already left, so they just decided, look, let's just take down any team that does move out from Sosnovka. We know IA and Loops dropping that location, so either one team or both of those teams gonna be coming through this spot soon anyway. So the more teams they can clean up as they move into the circle, the easier it's going to be to make their rotation up towards that northern side. But another circle shift again, fairly central, cuts out a lot of that water, so a little bit fairer to play now. With Gladiators up towards that northern side, Reject currently very much in the center, looking for a bit of a bigger game here.
Scary as well in a way that we're seeing Bra rotate into this one. Something about it screams that they're eventually going to be turned into Alpha 7 Chow, as they've got good advanced angles to work with. You get contact onto them, they've been looking mean in some of these fights. Meanwhile though, we'll hone in on what's going on here. Rosemary and co of Alter Ego taking shots back. This is the big squad of Stalwart, the Mongolians that have been playing pound for pound some great PUBG Mobile today. At the minute, fragmented with the setup 3 players on the top of the hills. One of them down towards the close proximity of Alter Ego. Bites the bullet a bit too literally and is taken out of commission early on this one. The rest of the squad looking to give up the space that was taken from IC. Just try grab their teammate to get out of here. Vehicles being absolutely peppered. Bullet holes all around. The drinks holder in the middle spilling liquid.
Yeah, it's not a good time. You've got sticky seats on your hands at this point, and honestly, it feels a bit sticky in this situation too, as Stalwart finally get themselves unstuck up towards that top side. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the Indonesian squad coming through from Alter Ego Eras. And it's been a long time coming, right? You know, BTR, they had their heyday in the past with Zuxi and Luxi just really being the golden twins back in the day. And since then, we just really haven't had that unbelievably good Indonesian squad. Alter Ego, though, has been on the rise for a while, and their macro has been fairly decent. Technical ability, not quite there yet, but I think this PMGC, they are really showing improvements in leaps and bounds at the moment. That shouldn't happen.
No, probably not. It is a bit worrying that that's gone down the way it has, especially in a game where we were kind of alluding to the fact that maybe it'll be a bit different here. You know, maybe turn a page for Gladiators. That's a rough one. Already being thrown into just a triple threat rather than the full 4. And losing Meku as well, which someone who can really come alive for this team. It feels like at times Meku plays some great PUBG and really does an awful lot for the squad. So losing him could be a bit of a backhander. Matic as well might be suffering the same fate, overwhelmed as they just buckle down. That's Alpha 7. Man, it feels like Alpha 7 really do just sort of follow in the slipstream of other teams and then absolutely thrive in those moments of picking off the isolated players. They do such a good job of playing really an annoying play style.
Yeah, I mean, but they're playing together, right? Which is the direct opposite of what we're seeing from Gladiators. The fact that one lone player can crash into a building and knock and execute one of your squad mates with no recourse whatsoever is really concerning. And I think this split mentality coming through from Gladiator is in a position that, honestly, you don't need to split in. You could be playing further in, group up, wait for the next circle to pop and go from there. It's just awkward. So Tixi, last player remaining, with Kane up on that top side as well, looking to hold him out. It is unideal going forward. Tiamba need to leave from this eastern side. This is very open outside of shooting range. Luckily for them, there's not too many teams around them other than Alter Ego down towards that southeast side.
Rotate along the coastline. Everyone in their vehicles sitting pretty as they make their move. Got a bit of a clash on the road potentially could be coming their way. Plus you've got to deal with Bra that are set up just ahead of you. A little bit of control towards the ridge, at least getting the information as they hear the engines going on by. Alpha 7 off towards the wayside as well. Single building, basically just a shed to try and tuck yourselves into. Thin walls on that bad boy. Bullets whizzing by from either side as well. Ooh, but this is the trade back. This is the clash that they were waiting for. Turning onto Bra, assisted by another set of assailants as well, as another squad gets stuck into the action. And now you're relatively trapped here, down ground as well, with a lot of high elevated angles to get a line of sight onto this. It's not going to be too nice to make a play from this one, especially when Tiamba are coming over for their piece of the pie.
Yeah, Tiamba looking to move in as well on that northern edge. Tixi goes down to the plaza. Could have easily left over towards that coastal edge. I think it's something iffy going on with the Gladiators at the moment. Something's not gelling. Something's not right. That's just a straight give up.
It's a weird one, man. It feels like that. Ooh, hello. Speedy car there, like the world's fastest pastry coming by, but it's Levi's in the driving seat. As he'll hit that one, take the man out of commission. Quick trade back. And this fight's going to go on for a little while now. You're looking at the spacing that we've got between them. Alter Ego trapped back again in a bit of a rough angle. Nade detonating in the face. DX pull up close. Chow goes out with a shot. He jump shot through the window. No clean connection, but backed up by Parajin. And the secondary shot, he will deal the damage instead. So they are able to find that one. You've got Quest just down towards the hills there as well. So another squad close by. Quest, it feels like they've been having to fight from the back foot all damn day today. So there'll be no strangers to this situation, barely dodging the bonnets.
Yeah, easy. Trying to get himself out of this situation at the moment with the team just encircling him. Fortunately for Alter Ego, they just get caught up in a haphazard rotation there. Fnatic trying to get back down again to cause a little bit of damage. Knows he needs a few more eliminations to make this sort of worth it. Only got 3 eliminations at the moment. It's not likely that they're going to go out in that top 8 at this point in time, so you can sort of understand why he comes down here just to fight the good fight. PMGC EVOS, though, they're looking down towards this engagement next. They want to hold out all the teams down towards this southeast side. In the meantime, Stalwart's trying to slip their way in up towards Reject.
Lay of the land, you can see it's looking quite scary with the spacing between teams. A hot commodity that's only going to get harder to keep a grasp on, as that zone will get even smaller, even less space to work with, and your blood's going to be boiling with this one. A lot more favored around Tiamba, as they've actually gotten quite lucky with this one. The plays have looked good from them as well. And we get a little bit of limelight back on over to the side from Japan. Reject Tokyo, that have had some risky plays throughout the day. I think it's a fair word to describe it as, Blank. But maybe in this one, with all 4 still alive, they'll be able to show us something a little bit better.
Yeah, they're just giving it, and I like it. I respect it. It's good to see coming through from Reject overall. This circle, just sending everyone up to the top side of the hill, so we're going to have a plateau in terms of the end game. But first, you've got to fight through this gauntlet, which is the outer edges of the hillside itself, moving up the slopes, see who you can get to. Sort of feels like Takeshi's Castle at this point in time, where you've got to battle through a lot of those annoying foes before you get to face against that final boss. At the moment, that's looking like PMGC, EVOS, as well as Tiamba combined.
EVO's kicking in the nitros as they want to close the gap between the two teams, but they're taking damage. Parajin, he's got to go off. Man's got to go full Paragon in a situation like this, trying to punish with a shotty. Clean connections as he cuts his way through easy, looking to stay alive, but the bullets are being battered down onto him from all the way up on the hill, though. That'll be the backup from Redface that does actually save the bacon on the close quarters engagement versus Quest. Lamborghini's gone for good as he's taken out, and Luxy traded it back again onto Stalwart. So Stalwart down to 3 now.
Yeah, cheeky peek there from Stalwart. I actually like this position that Stalwart's picked up. Pretty safe in terms of angles. You're not likely to get really hurt from Reject looking down your way, so they can hide within the tree line, but all the while deal a lot of damage over towards the airplane that's crashed down here. And currently PMGC EVOS is playing. They do lose a player in the process, but that will slow down EVOS tremendously, allowing now Mad Balls to move further up. They've got one elimination, made it towards the top 9. This is looking fairly decent for the EU squad.
Something about it, though, doesn't look right to me. Looking at Mad Balls with the way they've been playing, the body language, the way they've been positioning themselves into these games, it always feels a little bit scary. Here, Frozen, at least with a trace-in, detonating the car and taking out Paragin to stop the EX on that one. Slow them down, removing them from the course of action. But the fight won't end here. You're in close proximity, surrounded by squads that have got a good understanding of where they are positionally. So, if Mad Balls want to keep this one up, it has got to get even better the longer this game goes on.
Yeah, man, I mean, like, right now, the squads that are in the lobby, you know, Tiamba, Maliz Esports, Ali7, Stalwart, EVOS, these are all tough teams, but I think this might be a game where Mad Balls might just be able to pull themselves out of the water, cough up whatever that's been hurting them, hampering them, try and get on with it here in the PMGC. They're stuck a little bit on the edge now. With a lot of angles towards them, they might start sweeping up towards that western side, ideally. Alpha 7 spotted their position earlier because Mad Balls took one of their players. That's their one elimination that they have on this game. The circle moving over towards that eastern side does make anyone on this western edge a little bit queasy now.
That seasickness going to be kicking in as they have been shaken from game to game, thrown around all over the place. PK trying his best again here to strike, says goodnight to Chopper as he will take him out of commission. Good understanding, at least positionally, where they can be peaked from on this one. Got their back towards the blue as well, so they know there's no flanking action that's going to come their way. And a little bit of utility across the board as well. Few nades, probably want a little bit more to work with, but they've got some to try and make a maneuver. Few smokes pulled out, closing the distance behind the tree line. Going to push up with Zerich being able to provide overwatch as well. This is your one big grenade in the back pocket, so it's got to land on target. Little bit of damage tagged out from it, but not enough for what he wanted.
Smokes are down though, and I think Frozen knows that they're practically locked in at this point in time. Keeping them held down to the ground. So Zia not likely to get out of here anytime soon. Mad Balls still on that top side. They still have to face off against the Indonesian giants of Zuxi and Luxi and the rest of EVOS over towards that eastern side at some point.
And that's a fight that will decide so much in terms of the final standing of the squads we have remaining here at the minute in the 6th stage. EVOS have looked really quite strong to some of the encounters they've had, and you've got to prove that now against Mad Balls. Both squads in very similar positionings in the overall standings at the minute, being 12th and 13th place respectively with how it's been going. Mad Balls are just finding a few more eliminations as they're cleaning up onto the damage they did.
They've got absolutely no bullets left over in the back chamber. I think Zerich just ran out of everything on that PP Bison. So really looking dry in terms of what they're bringing to these final fights. They sort of have to go down towards RNJ and sort of pick up on some of those death crates. Misery holding them back now. Nice smokes unleashed, allowing them to get further up. Tulika has to hit some big nades. I think that's really mostly what they're rocking with right now.
It's pretty much all you've got to be your boon in a situation like this. Unless they can scavenge a little bit to build themselves back into it, you're not going to be too well armed the longer this one goes on. Same can't be said for some of the other teams that definitely have more reserves than they can really find time to do much with. A little bit outclassed in terms of some of the weaponry that's on display as well, but Fleek still trying his best. Pot shots across, nice connection in the end.
Yeah, it's a decent little tap spray there with the Scar. Good shots from Luxi though. This is getting cruel. And nades down the hill are a little bit easier. Nades upwards though towards PMGC EVOS, just not ideal. And I think the Mad Balls just have to leave, but it's all terrifying. it's all gone to pot here as well, as they're losing players left, right, and center. It was only so long they could hold in this position, and they just did not clear out enough space, even after they got that circle as well. So unfortunate.
It's rough for them, but the Bulls have been subdued and taken out of commission on this one. Not going to have a chance to have any surprises here. At least finding a few more points than we had seen into the previous games, though, ending that one with 8 eliminations. But the overall battle here does continue. A lot of big names still left in commission for this. And some of the squads we haven't seen making it this late, now starting to get a little bit more longevity out of their survival time as well. So we'll see for Evos as well as Reject Tokyo just what they can do with this, being the 2 squads that do still have all 4 players left alive. Evos, look, they were pretty red hot coming into this one with some of the adjustments we've seen from them. Redface has been hitting some good shots. Stalwart still in it to win it as well. No elims here on the final Erangel yet, but still chock-a-block when it comes to points off the back of the 2 chicken dinners they've already taken. So anything extra here is going to be a blessing for them. Yeah,
they're just churning out ranking points at the moment, which is the big difficulty for a lot of these teams. It sort of feels like STE, A7, 2 heavily armored guardsmen holding on to that 3rd place spot. Just don't know how it's going to be possible to catch these teams up. I say that, it's only day 1, so things can still change, but I just do feel like the consistency is going to keep coming through. STE, Nerzed has to send away. Not likely they'll get away from that one, though, and I think that's their final player now out in 5th place. But like you say, that's good points. That's good points still been accrued.
That's what matters at the minute, especially with a big buffer they built themselves. They're allowed to let the odd chicken dinner fall through the fingertips here and there. Already having 2 under the belt, the belly's definitely going to be full at the minute. But now it's up to the squads that are hungry. Alpha 7 famished off the back of what happened into the previous game. Probably somewhat frustrated at the mistakes made in the 2v2s. They want to secure a win on this one, but it is just 2 players. Being able to find it over the finish line will be a tall task, especially with both Evos and Reject having a lot more manpower to work with. A bit of a slower affair then from this one. Mistakes on this blank are going to be costly. Not too much map geometry to work with. All goes down to your util and your communications on your peaks.
I mean, Malise Esports, for 2 players, 17 nades is a massive amount they've still got remaining. So if they can get themselves towards the end game, towards that Zone 9, they can unleash an absolute hellstorm over towards some of these teams. They've got no smokes, though, and that's going to make their rotate up the hill very, very difficult. So they need to be ideally putting these nades out now, make the best use of them. Lewis already pulls one out the pocket. Doesn't send it yet, though. Evos have the circle. And again, for this Indonesian team, they've come along leaps and bounds over in their region. Looking much more like a unit as Lewis is fully unloaded on by the guys on Reject. Regiocio finds the last player from Lee's Esports. They make it up to a top 3.
Pushing further into the placements on this one. So what you needed, at least being able to close things down before they got out of hand. It looked like it was going to be a bit risky with some of the shots that were coming back towards them, but they piece it together, although it's not going to end there. Still just eating bullets again. Misery really living up to his name as he loves company. In this situation, it will be the Rejects that are forced to hang out with him. Bullet after bullet, putting them in. Alpha 7 as well, suffering as they're gone for good. We get left with the final 2 squads that are duking it out for this one. Evos, they've looked confident, Blank, but can they close it?
They need to get it done now. Ragey, the rest of his team on Reject can't get too high up this hill, and at the moment, honestly, Evos is just holding the back marvelously. Misery goes down, though. There is another one from Sarah, flexing those guns earlier, now flexing it in-game, looking to take down a couple more players. This takes it up to a 2v3, 2v2 now. It's just Duello off in the distance. Has a nade, it could be dangerous.
Duello, he's got to win his duels on this one.
Ooh, what?
Oh, the flick back across is absolute insanity from Luxy. That wasn't lucky, that was skill, as the man makes a maneuver that would make you feel ill, dropping it down to just 1 man left. The Japanese side not able to keep the dream alive, as they will be rejected on the chicken dinner. It will be a pickup for Evos as they secure the chicken dinner.
That felt like a return to pass there from Luxy with that